they're naive, not ready to go into a full-time ministry. I mean, spiritually and mentally, I guess. After 3 decades of my ministry, if you ask me, what is ministry? I may say in one word, it's a relationship. That's my answer. But in the seminary, you probably focused on theology and how-tos. And all these great ideas and motivations don't work if you don't create right relationship with the people. So the relationship building is a groundwork, but mostly fresh out of seminary graduates just jump into the programs, hoping that it works. But probably proper groundworks need to be done before jumping into the ministry. You do all right with the youth groups, because youth groups are come and go. They get excited easily. They get turned off easily. So you get result instantly, almost. But with the long-term residents, seasoned elders, it's hard to change them. So building the relationship. That's maybe just one reason. And many schisms, conflicts, and I guess for second generation's case, they're very much tempted to the secular jobs. Either they had or they possibly can have. Ivy League graduate who has a fantastic academic records going into seminary and then called as a EM pastor or youth pastor, and he or she faces difficult relationships and all tangled things in Korean church, and they just give up. And because the better jobs are waiting for them, and going to law school, and I know several folks in LA, and seminary graduates, ordained, but they're doing fantastic job in law firms. Their ministries are much better than doing EMs. As a lawyer, they actually serve much better. They don't ask salary to the EM, but still they're doing ministry as a part-time and being a lawyer, but sooner or later they drop out though. It doesn't continue their voluntary work for a long time. That's the difference between professionals and non-professional volunteers. Lawyer, minister type, well-off, smart, burning desire to witness Jesus, but they're volunteers. So they may just drop out anytime. When bigger projects in the office come, they just say, oh, no more, I'm busy. And church has to find someone else. So in long run, they would rather a little dumber minister, not lawyer type minister, but stay for good.
Stay long.
Yeah, stay longer and love people. Okay, I'm not sure I can answer your question, but some of them.
In your description of the 3 types of leaders, you make it sound like to minister to English-speaking Koreans in a Korean church is a losing battle, because you say the majority of Korean pastors are kingdom builders. So it seems that for a second generation or English-speaking ministry, it's going to be very difficult staying in a Korean church. Is that true? Would you say that's the impression?
Yes and no. No means they're not losing battle. They're winning because they're establishing kingdom and they protect it, maintain it, and even flourishing. Kingdom builders. Their criteria is to make a kingdom bigger and larger, expand their territories. So they're doing it. Korean churches grow. So they're winning, not losing in kingdom mentality. Whatever theology you're coming from, it may be losing game in the eyes of God. So I rely on your theology, how to evaluate.
I want to tag on to that. Is that in some ways this kingdom builder mentality is kind of phase one in some ways. Phase two in God's kingdom, phase two is to go deeper in a lot of ways. Phase one gets a lot of people in one place. Phase two is to dig down, so they go deeper in the spiritual area, because they may be there for very shallow reasons initially. But phase two, I'm thinking, just imagine that phase two could be this deepening of the roots that makes, and then God does what God does in that circumstance. But phase two being a digging of the roots and planting, and then letting God harvest.
Okay, don't get me wrong when I say kingdom builders. I guess kingdom builders do a lot of good things too.
Right.
I'm not criticizing kingdom builders. I'm criticizing that majority of Korean churches are in there. I would like to see the variety, diversity of the ministries to serve diverse Korean populations. So I'm criticizing that the Korean churches are only one kind of ministry paradigm. I'm criticizing that, not kingdom ministry itself. It has a valid point, but not every church is in that idea.
Right.
That's what I'm criticizing. So,
and would you say about, you mentioned about multicultural ministry led by the Korean. Do you have some good model who do well?
okay, yeah. It was a few years back, at 7, 8 years ago, or 10 years, I don't know exactly. My office offered a campaign called connecting first generation connecting Korean speaking ministers to non-Korean non-Korean ministries. So I had a campaign and then sent out the questionnaires. At that time, Korean church was less than 400. I sent out questionnaires to all ministers, and I got 70 responses. And Korean first generation ministers would like to go into a multicultural ministry. So I offered conference workshops, and I get some results. And then somehow that movement stopped because of several reasons.